Hi, this is Fractures, and you're watching the AU review.
Well, thanks for joining us.
No worries.
We're sitting here on the balcony of the Vanguard in Sydney where you're about to perform. Sold it out.
Apparently.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The ticket sales are going very well for this tour. How does that feel to kind of know that there's, that crossover, I guess, from that sort of online world of people listening to the music and now they're interested to come see the show?
Well, I guess it's affirmation I've been looking for, really, finally. It's been a while coming. Last time I came to Sydney, I think I had a technical sellout, but definitely wasn't a full room, so it'll be nice to actually have the bodies in the house this time absorbing all the noise.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, I guess bring us in on kind of how your live show works. What incorporates it.
Well, it's very much trying to reproduce the EP pretty faithfully. The dynamics are probably heightened. There's just the natural energy of a live band there, so it'll be somewhat different to what people expect, but it's more or less it's played by a live band, whereas people might turn up expecting me to have a laptop out and hit the triggers and all that kind of thing, but all about performance. So hopefully people take the positives out of that. Yeah.
I mean, was that really important for you to recreate it live?
Yeah, definitely. I don't discredit people who do that, but it's not something I enjoy watching personally.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely merit to it. The production side of thing, to get to that stage usually takes a lot of skill, but I don't sometimes I think of it as glorified karaoke. You rock up and there's a guy with a backing track singing over it, so I wanted to make it more of an immersive experience and just make it more enjoyable, and yeah.
So the band that you've got with you, were they involved in the album in any way?
Not so much. I mean, I write it and arrange it all myself and play all of it in by way of MIDI triggers, MIDI keyboards and things like that. But we needed some live drums, so I've got my live drummer, Mark, on the record for 2 tracks, I think. So beyond that, I tend to just keep them in the live venues. Yeah.
So let's talk about the record. Has it been officially released? I get confused because I've got it in my hand. I get confused.
It's a funny one with the press. No, it's definitely officially been released. I wish I knew what date it was released, but it's definitely out there because people are telling me they like it. So I don't know. Either that or it's been pirated heavily. I'm not sure.
There you go.
Leak. I don't know.
Well, it does make sense considering you are touring the record. That people would have it in their hands.
It adds up.
So I guess what has the response been like?
Largely positive. I mean, I'm lucky enough to live in a bit of a bubble when you're on social media. People tend to come to you with positive feedback. They don't tend to waste their time telling you they don't like it. So in that sense, it's all been positive. And I'm avoiding reading reviews even if they're positive because it can mess with your head in one way or the other. So, but for the most part, it's been positive and people are turning up. So they must have found something to latch onto.
And Splendour in the Grass? How'd that go?
Very well. That was pretty huge actually. It was a great turnout, great crowd, amazing festival. I'd never been, so it was definitely gave me an insight into how large these things can get, and I got a pretty decent portion of the crowd in there, which I was not expecting. So it gets an A+ from me.
There you go.
Yeah.
The A+ review. Well, it's glad to hear that went well, and you're doing, I think, 2 Melbourne shows as well, and you're running around a bit at the moment. Have you done any other shows yet for this particular run?
For the EP, no, not so much. And this will be just a short kind of mini tour.
Yep.
Sydney's as far as I'm going in any direction. But I've got Big Sound coming up in September, and then we're opening for Vance Joy in Melbourne and his one-off show, so that should be pretty great. Hopefully convert some of his followers, his million followers, and ride that wave. And then we're heading overseas in October, so just trying to find the funds basically to get on that plane and do our thing. The US, a bit of US and a bit of Europe, including the UK, and we've booked the flights, but everything else is very much in the air.
All the visas and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Don't envy that task.
No.
You're going into those markets. Has there been a bit of traction over there?
Enough, I guess, to warrant the trip.
Yeah.
There's been back and forth between the right people, I suppose, but it's hard to know if the groundswell is legitimate or not. I mean, one person can bump up your stats by watching your video or listening to your SoundCloud 300 times, and you wouldn't know it. So I suppose until we're there, until more than 20, 50 people turn up, it's hard to gauge. But as far as I can tell, there's a bit of interest there. So I guess this will be the real test for that.
And you mentioned recreating the EP live, but are we getting to hear some other tracks as well? Maybe things we haven't heard before?
Absolutely. I mean, I think I play maybe every track but one on the EP, so that fills out a portion of it. And then there's maybe 5 or 6. They're maybe not new to the band, but they'll be new to the audience, and they're kind of, I suppose, a representation of the direction it'll keep going in. And it's not far from what I've been doing, but they're all different. They're all pretty stylistically disparate, and I think it'll make sense in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, there'll be some freshies for the folks.
So there could be some interesting directions for you in the future.
Well, yeah, I suppose I shouldn't have said the word direction, because it's always kind of it's going one way or the other. It just depends what I feel like at the time. So if I want to make a R&B tune, I'll do that. If I want to make XYZ, I'll do that. So I'm not going to plot what's ahead, but I think it'll fit within the mould currently. And if it's too far fetched, then I'll just come up with another project and release it as that, I guess.
There you go. Well, I really appreciate your time. I hope the show goes well tonight, and you're playing with Mammals as well. You heard much about those guys?
Yeah, I have. They were just regaling me with some of their Melbourne gigs, and I think how they are never working in that town again. It might have been an exaggerated story, but no, I've been hearing them. They got played on the Jays the other night too, so that's good to hear. We're both getting some airplay, and hopefully a few of their fans come along and get into me, and vice versa.
There you go. Everyone helps everyone.
Exactly.
One way or the other. Well, really appreciate your time, and
Not a
thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.